Let's get a video going here, alright? It is 13 with Superior Mobile ByThirteen. Hi! And it is currently December 21st, so we're coming up on Christmas here, New Year's. It is the winter solstice today, so happy Yule, which is probably the closest thing that I celebrate during this time of year. Other than, you know, just the end of the year, which is always really fun for me to go back and reflect and see what this year has brought for me. And it's no surprise that 2022 was a character building year. It sucked. And 2023 has rocked, and I have been loving it. When I made that last video 5 months ago, apparently that was me like grabbing a hold of things and getting control of my life. So it's just been a great year for me on all fronts. Super cool. I currently have retarded hair, so check that out. Let's just document it. It was actually longer than that, and then I hacked it off because it was really annoying. And honestly, I can't wait to go back to the purple faux hawk that I've had for like 8 years. I tried out something new and special and different this year, and you know, just drawing it a little bit longer. And it's something, but it's not quite who I am as an individual, and by that I mean it's actually just too much maintenance, so can't do it. So that's me personally. Let me talk about this business thing, which has been so good. This has been, drumroll please, my most profitable year ever. And considering I don't actually care about profit, that's really cool, because that means that I worked my butt off and that I took care of a lot of people and did a lot of really cool projects. So, cheers to me. So I have spent the last half hour or so going through QuickBooks, looking at the year in review. And one thing that I know that I did this year that's a little bit different than previous years is I focused on getting labor-intensive jobs. I wanted fewer jobs, fewer clients, but more labor-intensive, higher complexity jobs. And so I really shined with that with the beginning of the year kicked off with Sean's F250, where I had that thing for like 2.5 months, and it closed out with Allison's Focus RS, which I had for a little over a month. And it's also worth mentioning that both of those were Starlight headliners. In addition to those two, I did 2 other Starlight headliners this year. So I did 4 Starlight headliners this year, which is insane considering previous to this year I'd only done 1. So that's a big labor ticket item right there. So that's really exciting that I have made money. Hooray. But since I'm talking about it, let's go over some stats in case you're like, you know, that likes that stuff. So like, check it out. That being 19,000, almost 20 grand I made this year. That's way higher than it's ever been. I shoot for around 15,000 a year profit because I'm a simple man, and I feel like if I start focusing on profit, then I'm not going to prioritize people. And remember, people over profit. And something that stays on my desk right there is always going to be there. So let's talk about the months or whatever. So July, when I recorded that video, I actually lost money, but then you can see I had a huge spike in September, and that was the Starlight headliner for Autofilm guys, and then I had another huge spike in December, and that was the Focus RS for Allison. And then obviously way over here in February, we've got Sean's F250. So I am pleasantly surprised with the amount of work that I did this year, and also pleasantly surprised with the fact that I can now afford to do all these other home projects. So speaking of home projects, the fence got done a while ago. I did another planter bed on top of that one, and then we did some other things. There was the mailbox project that got done, and now I'm working on the gate project. And the gate project is running into some snafus, which on a side note, I'd like to preach the concept of personal responsibility and accountability. You want to go for a walk? Let's go for a walk. Okay, the office. Pretty much what you've come to expect out of my office, except now we've got my little Merry Fixmas. That's my only Christmas ornament, don't you know? And it's out on display. I am also a member of the NFIB now, which is kind of cool, and I've got some adorable cards, and so I'm just going to leave those there, and there's stuff, and there's stuff. Here's my little snowman. He's my other Christmas decoration. And then moving on here, you know what's really crazy is this bathroom is friggin' amazing. I just don't think people fully comprehend the fact that, like, I've got 2 10-inch subwoofers and 4 almost 9-inch speakers up here, and like, it just, like, people don't know. But that's cool, whatever. So moving on, I've got this headlight out here now because I've kind of come to accept that I'm never gonna sell these, which makes me sad, so they've just become display items. This is a backup camera that technically is just gonna sit out there and be there until forever, and then this is all the other stuff. and this is the other stuff. And oh my goodness, I have this adorable Christmas tree because you know what? It's the holiday season, so let's celebrate good times tonight. Okay, bye. Let's move out to the bay then, shall we? Let's see what's going on out here. This is Evie. She's doing her thing. She does have a roof rack because she's become a work truck, of course. I've got Z's Camaro in the shop. This is pretty much going to be like the last real job that I do this year, and it's not even going to be documented. It's just a little sound system I'm doing for him. I just did his radio earlier. There was a video about that in case you're interested. But this is what I'm saying about, like, I'm running the business right. Is I called him up earlier today and I was like, yo, I got a spot for tomorrow if you're interested in having your car done. And he's like, yeah, we got it over here tonight. And boom, bada bing, it's gonna get done tomorrow, easy cheesy. All right, let's talk about my latest problem, my latest addiction. It's all these 2x4s. So I keep going into the dumpsters and taking pallets out, and this actually came from a kitchen remodel. Earlier today, I went over to the construction site and I took all of this lumber, and then I spent an hour taking all of the nails out and processing it. So I've just got all this 2x4, and all for what? I don't need 2x4s right now, but you know what? I hate waste, and I can't handle all of this stuff just going into the dump, and that's where this was gonna go. Which leads me to over here. This is all pallet wood that's left over, and actually this used to be like a huge mountain of pallet wood because I got these really cool tools. That's a little pallet buster, and I got a crowbar, of course, and this is a D-nailer nail gun, so you actually put the nail into the hole and then you pull the trigger and it shoots the nail out the other side. That's a lot of fun. But that allowed me to process pallets, and so I stacked up all this wood, and then I ended up selling it for a whopping $9, which isn't exactly a very profitable venture, I might say, considering it takes a lot of time, but that's not my point. My point is that I just hate waste. Let's not talk about that anymore and talk about these beautiful cabinets that I have. So not only do I have all the drawer faces on, and they are functional, usable cabinets, even though, let's admit the fact that I've never actually put anything in them because I've been too busy, but I am working on it. I'm gonna get stuff in those cabinets eventually. And I have this dust collection like sort of getting set up, but I'm still kind of debating whether or not I'm gonna keep that miter saw for this location. And I got the bumper molding that's been installed on there, and it looks great and I love it. I mean, it's all good until I start looking over here and I've still got all this crap all over the place, but that, you know, it is what it is. Some of the wiring from over there, it ended up in one drawer. So I am using one drawer and it's just a bunch of wires, and obviously it's all rolling around. So like I have to figure out a system there. That is a future project. Maybe I'll get to it in January. It's certainly not getting done this year. Cool, let's go back on selfie mode for a second. So I had some varying degrees of success with a couple different goals this year. Two arbitrary goals that I did not hit. One is that I wanted to have the gate installed in the yard by the end of the year. It's kind of like the final yard work of the year progress. But again, we're running into some hiccups with that. The gate was ordered wrong, and of course now there's a big problem as to who's actually going to pay for the replacement gate because, you know, it wasn't my fault that it ordered wrong. And the other project that I wanted to have finished before the end of the year, however, that I did not hit, is my door panels on the Kona. That's totally fine. I'm going to show you the progress on them right now, actually. That sounds cool. Head on over here to the project shelf. All right. So they have been primed and then guide coated and then block sanded down. So they're nice and smooth. And these are going to be for the mid-range in the 3-way Sony component set that's in the doors. So the door handle goes there and the mid-range goes right there. And I fabricated these up. That's like a little acrylic insert that I bonded in there, and then I did all that shaping work so that it actually looks decent. And then that's just a backup battery saver and Blue Ghost module that just hangs out for testing purposes. And I've got these rings that I have machined up and, as you can see, slick sanded and then block sanded down. So these are going to be the trim rings around the woofers in the door, and I got these speaker grills, and these are what I'm going to make the actual pressed grills out of. And then I've got these fiberglass molds that I've taken of the door, which they don't look like much right now, but they're going to be something pretty cool in the future. So I am making slow and steady progress on my own door, which does bring me a lot of joy. I'm not even going to say that I'm upset that it's not done faster, because it's getting done slow and steady. So like I'm really, really happy that I'm making progress on my own car in my own time. So I think that's pretty much all of it around here. This is what my shop looks like right now. Okay. Oh, I guess I should point out that I had that tower thing here on the other video. That is now stashed right there. I couldn't bring myself to sell it because I was like, man, if I ever run into a huge project crunch, I'm going to need that storage shelving again. But I much prefer it right there, and I just have like this airspace now that's over here. So I just like leave my shop vac out like willy-nilly, like just parked in the middle of the room, like no big deal. But I guess it really doesn't hurt anybody being there, so that's where it ends up until I find a better home for it. I am proud of all that I'm accomplishing here. I'm proud of what I'm accomplishing in my personal life. I'm proud of what I'm accomplishing on the house. I am proud of the fact that I now own 2.5 acres of land in Hernando that I have dubbed the Florida Man Preserve. So I am fulfilling my objectives of conservation. I only do what I feel is what everyone should be doing, which is respecting our nature, our environment, valuing nature. And so that has been really big for me. 2022 really just set me straight as far as like reassigning what is important, where are my priorities, and how do I want to live my life most fulfilled. And this has been my best year doing as close as I can come to in the present as far as what that actualized looks like. And it's doing really cool projects, but I'm not going to say on my own terms, but basically in coordination and agreement with willing clients, and just in a way that doesn't sacrifice myself and is instead more encouraging my growth. So I guess at this point, all I really want to say is Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Yule, Happy Hanukkah, what is it, like Kwanzaa? It's winter solstice. I know that. It's winter solstice, baby. So let's celebrate that moon. I am flipping cold is what I am. That is why I am wearing my Dickies jacket right now. Represent. This is like what's that hipster brand that everyone wears or whatever? Carhartt. There it is. Yep, Carhartt. Yeah, Dickies, the OG for when we were actually poor and really bought things that I've had this jacket for over 10 years now. Game on. So here is to good health and happiness and connection and openness and willingness to learn and grow for 2024. That's what I'm going to say. This is 13 with Superior Mobile by 13. Thank you. I appreciate you, and I hope you appreciate this. Bye.